Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, what do it? King Dingbat here. Welcome to another Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 500, the beautiful Joey Shakes, and our special guest, one Joe Castro. Joe Castro, man, what is going on, man? How are you?
Living the dream. It's funny. I always, every time I hear that, I'm like, yeah, I made that. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? It always makes me so hyped. Like, oh yeah, that's fine. But no, man, I'm having a good time, man. Always excited to talk to my guys, man. I appreciate y'all having me back on. It's been too long, man.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're you're like a made guy here. You know what I mean? You can come in anytime you want, any time of the day. Joey, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm just, getting ready for tomorrow, and I just want the playoffs to start already. And a lot of talk this week, or is everything, the excitement, are things going to change? I don't know. I'm going to talk about it though.
Either. Well, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Jersey Dolphins here. Nuke, DB Cooper, we're still looking for you. Chris 716, Ryan, Rosie Chandler. Little G, Mike Dunn, Akeem, and anybody I missed, thank you guys for being here. Umbrella Man, thank you for super chat, man. He goes, what's up, fellas? Mark is not happy with you, Philly. I know. I got a text from Mark saying that he was going after me because basically I made a bet with Pizzle, and I said if Pizzle loses the bet, I want him to spend a week doing just nothing but Mark Holmes trashing videos. So he's going to have to just trash Mark all week. Well, because Mark makes like 8 or 9 videos a day, and they're always about me. And I'm like at work doing things like, I can't keep making videos. So I need an attack dog. That's how I look at it. And Pizzle's my attack dog. So,
like that.
Yeah, why not use him to my benefit? So I know he's upset. He'll get over it. But I mean, listen, we're in a weird situation because I gotta be honest. I've never seen a season like this. I don't remember. You 10-1. You're 2 games up on the NFC, and then all of a sudden now you're the 5th seed, like crawling into the playoffs. I mean, what do you guys feel about like where we're sitting right now? 1 game to go before we probably have to go on the road in the playoffs.
Go ahead, Joe.
I feel at this point I'm upset. I am upset with how things have gone the past couple of weeks. Obviously, I think anybody that says they're not is lying to you, right? But at the same time, I feel like we're at the point that all we can really do is have faith. Like, what's the worst case scenario? We lose and go home. Like, a lot of Eagles fans already feel like we lost and went home. The amount of people that I see say the season's over. To me, it's not over till they lose in the playoffs. We have, looking at the positives, we have either the Buccaneers, the Saints, or the Falcons. I feel like we can beat any of those teams. We've obviously already beaten the Buccaneers. So, like, if we can get a win in the playoffs, if we can, who knows what happens. This team has beaten some really good teams. This team has lost to some really bad teams. We've lost to some good teams. So it's like, I don't know who this team is. I hope the team knows who they are. And it feels like everybody's starting to kind of, I don't want to say like unravel, but they're calling everybody out. They're calling each other out. We've heard everybody talk about these practices and the lack thereof with the effort in these practices. So maybe these guys just are waking up now, and I really don't know what to make of any of this. I'm going to be honest. But there's silver lining and there's obviously doom. Like, you can look at the last 5 weeks and say doom, doom, doom. But you can also look at through throughout the season, we've, like I said, beaten good teams and we've looked dominant on offense. Our defense sucks. I think that's the only for sure I have about this team. Like, I'm pretty sure our defense is not good, so, but I feel like our offense can win us games. So I'm just going to keep faith until, they either make me happy or I'm going to the draft with a whole new mission about what we're doing out there. So it is what it is.
What about you, Joey?
No, I mean, it's been tough. It's been like one of the biggest crumbles I've ever seen at this point, and no adjustments. And I don't know. It seems like as the players have tried to get excited every week and try to make it a refresh type of week, the coaching staff is just letting us down and letting them down every single week. I feel like guys get excited all week when they practice, then they get into these games, and when bad play calling happens, and when it's consistent every single drive, the morale just goes down and it's like a restart all over again. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to be the difference this week and all the talks. I know AJ Brown came out and said some things and put mostly accountability on the players and himself, but I love that he did that. I get it, but at the same time, like, we have to hit the reality checkpoint where this coaching staff is a problem, and who's in control, and it's going to be a lot of decisions. This playoff game is really going to matter. And I think Nick is on the hot seat, and I think a lot of things are going on behind the scenes we don't know about. So we're going to find out what this team's made of. So,
yeah. Which King of Agmore says, it's a pathetic ending to a promising season. That's why we are angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have words. I mean, I'm shocked at what's happened. And I love what AJ Brown did. I do, and I love what he said. And I do think the team seemed like, I don't know, they seem to be in a little better spirits this week. I hope that it manifests on the field, but there's definitely some problems, especially in the coaching, and there's definitely going to be changes. The one thing I can say is this is not going to be a boring off season. This is not going to be boring, for sure. And speaking of all season, before we go any further and talking about this, Joe, man, you've done work at the draft, right? You've done work at the scouting combine, and you're going to be going back, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So this year we're adding hopefully 2 more events, but definitely at least the Senior Bowl. So at the end of this month, I'll be out in Alabama of all states. And the funny part of it is that I had an option to either go to the Super Bowl and do media week out there, or go to the Senior Bowl and do media week out there. And it's going to be way, way too expensive to go to the Super Bowl, to be 100% honest. Yeah. And 2, I love the draft stuff. Like you said, last year I did the draft stuff. This is now just like an added layer to it. But yeah, so I'm gonna be out there for the whole week at Senior Bowl. Gonna be able to be, sitting down, having breakfast with these kids, getting to know who these guys are. So I'm excited about that. Also, I might be going to the Pro Bowl. I'm like 50-50. It all depends on how long I'm out at Alabama. But definitely, I'm so excited about the Senior Bowl. So excited to go back out to the combine. Like I was kind of telling you last year, it was kind of just out of nowhere. I found out, I think, a week or 2 before. And it was tough because I didn't really know where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing, what I could do. But this year, now I've got my footing a little bit more. You guys saw the content I put out last year. So I think this year is going to be 10 times better, just because I do have that familiarity with it and know a couple people out there that can kind of help me out. But so excited, so excited. Yeah. Eagles need a good draft this year. So.
They did. I thought, like I said to you, I thought your draft coverage, your scouting combine coverage, especially the press conference, some of the questions you asked, was the best out there. I do.
Thank you.
And Joe, you have a GoFundMe account going here. Joe, you'll drop the link in the description, guys. But if you want to go support our man here, if you want real Eagle fans questions answered, questions that we fans care about, this is the guy we want to send to the draft, the scouting combine, and we want to help him out because it definitely matters. So definitely check it out. Because Joe's stuff is fantastic.
It's I give respect because it's a lot of hard work and it's something that I would never do. I'd rather just sit home and do this, but it takes a lot of balls to do that. And just make sure you got one of those you got one of those rechargeable that recharges your phone while you're walking around and stuff. Because you're going to use your camera, use your phone. Make sure you got everything. Is your girl is she helping with the recording and stuff?
Yeah, she's gonna come out. I'm actually gonna be out there with James. I do the show with him weekly. So me and him are gonna be out there. We're gonna be doing a lot of work together. I also know a couple people like my boy Devin that works for the Inquirer. He's gonna be out there. So we're all gonna kind of work together to try and get all the information we can. But yeah, my girl's gonna go out there. She's gonna make sure everything's good for all the live shows that we're gonna be doing and everything. And it's really cool because I know out there, and this was another big reason why I wanted to do the Senior Bowl instead of the Super Bowl, is because I know I'll be able to really sit down with these guys. I'll really be able to kind of pick their mind. And at the combine, you get the interviews, you get the combine interviews, but it's nowhere near as personal. So I feel like there's a lot of good defensive linemen. There's a couple good linebackers that are going to be going there. So there's players that I want to see and want to kind of pick their mind and see how they feel about getting into the NFL, because there's a lot of talented players this year at the Senior Bowl. Yeah. So I'm excited to be able to really sit down, get good content for everybody. And like you said, answer the questions they want to know.
Yeah, and we need linebackers.
Yeah, we do. You are not lying, bro. You are not lying. And cornerback.
Make sure you get the Philly's favorite. Make sure you get the Philly 500's favorite player out of the draft.
Who is that this year? Who's that?
Yeah. Jeremiah
you know what I did for
Jr.
you with Bijan. I got you.
I know. You gave him the draft 5. I'm ready for the draft 54 now. We need a linebacker.
We're talking Trotter, I'm assuming, right? Everybody. I see people.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
I see everybody in the comments as well. I like Jeremiah Trotter, and realistically, he could be an Eagle. I don't see him going too early, maybe like mid first, maybe end of the first, maybe even second round, depending on how.
I'm hoping second.
Yeah. So he could be a possibility. I will say there's a lot of very good linebackers in this draft. So just kind of like I was telling you to kind of temper expectations with Bijan. You might want a lot of people might want to temper expectations with Jeremiah.
I know. I always get carried away. It's just in my nature. Well, I can't help it. But I would love to see this team take 2 second-round picks and just draft 2 linebackers. Because you don't want to pay them, you don't want to sign them. Just go get linebackers. My God.
Yeah.
Bald Eagle, thank you for super chat. He goes, all this calling out has been the only different thing this season. Let's see a positive versus a negative. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the whole AJ Brown thing and the call, like I think the media made stuff up that wasn't there with the whole thing. Like, how did you get to this point where people are saying that he's a cancer in the locker room and things like that? That just wasn't true. With AJ Brown.
I think him not talking at all for 2 weeks is probably worse. Even though it was probably the right thing to do, I think it just made it worse on himself because that the beat writers are going to eat that shit up like there's no tomorrow. And, it's just like he rather not regret saying something that he is going to regret than, he might as well just sit back and, and everybody's just speculating. So, he had to apologize to the rest of the team because, if he's not talking for 2 weeks, the pressure's going to be put on all the other players to speak for him and ask about him all the time. So, I mean, at least I think, like Philly said, I think there is some excitement this week. I feel like, Nick's got some juice this week. I feel like, I'm just hoping it's just like, I'm not worried about the players. I mean, I'm really just worried about, where they put these players, the coaches put good players, in good position to win football games. And that's all I want. I mean, I don't know how much stock you're putting into this game. If the Cowboys, Commanders, if they start winning, are they going to pull guys? Like, I don't know what you guys think in that situation, but,
if I'm the Eagles, I probably play half, and like you said, if the Cowboys are winning, then pull them out. But if the Cowboys are losing, why not go grab that for that 3 seed? It doesn't really matter, but
this game really doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
But I don't understand. Like the people say, don't play your starters. I don't get it. Like you got to play them. Dallas Cowboys are capable of choking at any time. Sure. You have to at least have those guys. If it's 35-3 in the third quarter and Dallas is up, pull them. But I mean, Dallas is capable of losing this game. I'm sorry, they are.
You're playing at MetLife. You know what happens on that field. You know what happens on that.
And the other side is like I feel like the Eagles are kind of capable of winning this game even without Jalen Hurts. If I'm being 100% honest, like I wouldn't be surprised if Mariota pulled something out. You're looking at Mariota, probably Boston Scott seeing a lot of touches. These are guys that can win a football game for you. So I mean, there's still that possibility too. That would be insane.
You know, with our luck, we'll sit our players and Dallas will lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Imagine
Detroit lose, and we could have had the 2 seed, but we sat on. Oh God, can you imagine the amount of hell Nick Sirianni would get for that? There's no recovering from that
at all. I'd rather play the Tampa Bay Bucks or the Saints or I mean, maybe it's a cop out, but I like our path right now. Our path right now is pretty easy.
That second round path is tough.
It is, man. The Rams are no joke right now. If you're seeing them in the second round, obviously the Green Bay Packers are a wild card team right now. I mean, they are decent. They're pretty good. They're a young team. They don't know that they're not supposed to win, you know?
Yeah, it's like they have to like build themselves back up. It's like they have to start at the bottom like all over again and start out in the playoffs on the road and kind of build themselves up again to face a better team. And I think that's what they need. I made a video on, that this is the best spot that they could be in. It's not obviously, but I think this is a really good spot for them to be in regarding, where they're at as a team right now, kind of building themselves up and making sure this coaching is right. So I feel like the 5th seed is probably, they should start there. They should go on the road and really work for it. And they should work for it. They should, the more pressure that's on the coaching staff, the better it's going to be, because if they're one and done, if they get slaughtered.
There's one simple way to win. Use DeAndre Swift.
Facts. And so many people keep saying, so many people keep saying, like, what if we're holding back? What if we're holding back? And even Deshaun Jackson said, I feel like they're losing on purpose. If we go out there and we have like a whole new game plan and we're just killing teams, I might be more upset. I ain't gonna lie. I might be like, why didn't you just do this? Or like, what were you holding back? But we'll see what happens.
The way I figure it, DeAndre Swift's a Pro Bowler now, over 1,000 yards, and he's not coming back because the Eagles aren't going to want to pay him. So run him 30 times. What do you have to lose at this point? Run him. Let me catch up some of these super chats. Sydney family, thank you for super chat. He goes, lost Hargrave, Sue, Joseph, Barnett, Street, and no replacement for the D-line, and Barnett must have a twin brother. Wow. I'm not worried about Derek Barnett. I'm not worried about Barnett.
He's got 2.5 sacks now, dude. Like 15 tackles. What's going on?
He could have 1,000 sacks. Forget him. Green Blaze the Fly Eagle, David Super Chat goes, do you guys really think that a speech from one player is changing the entire vibe after a disaster season that we are having? No, but we're looking for anything. We're like grasping for straws here. Like at this point, you're looking for something to have faith in. Let's be honest. What else do we have?
And I don't think it's been a disaster of a season. I think that realistically, I understand and I get it. We're upset right now. Like these past, I keep saying that these past 5 weeks have not been pretty in any form or fashion. But you beat some really good teams. They're gonna be close games. We don't have the same record same schedule that we had last year. We didn't play a bunch of bad teams. We played a bunch of good teams.
Yeah.
And yes, we got blown out by the 49ers. We got blown out by the Cowboys. But every other game, realistically, we were right in there. It was our defense that either blew it or dumb mistakes by the offense that blew it. Because you can make an argument in that Arizona game, that defense never should have went back out on the field. If the Eagles do what they need to do when you're on your side, on the plus territory of the field, you should win that game. So, I mean, it's been tough, but disaster of a season, 11-5 after a Super Bowl, that's not easy to do. Not many people can. Let's look at the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are like 10 and I don't even know what they are off the top of my head, but they've had a tough season. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough. It's tough to return back to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's always going to be hard. But
you get into these games, and I think the one thing is like, we have to rely on this offense a lot more now because this defense is just not cutting it now. So at this point, it's like you got to know situational football. You have to know when to put teams away. I think the one problem the Eagles have had offensively is putting teams away. When they have that one drive that really matters where they can get time of possession, whether they throw a kill shot downfield on early second and short, third and short, or, even, last game trying to play for a field goal with 2 runs by Hurts and obviously a screen to Kenneth Gainwell. Like there's just something wrong. And Nick's made him look, kind of made himself look stupid the past few weeks. Like, I know he's smarter than that. Like, why is he saying things that are just like, just out of the ordinary? Like, I don't know why he can't be more humble and be like, we really have to work on some things, or I don't know. I mean, he's just not humble at all. It's like he has an excuse for everything. And I don't know if it's like coming from upstairs or like, you're you run with DeAndre Swift 5 times. I mean, you're still doing the same thing over and over every week. Like, you got no juice to the offense. There's no rhythm with Jalen Hurts. I thought the progression from Jalen Hurts was good last game. I thought his progression was a lot better. But when it came down to like that last drive, it's just they just get into another mode, and I don't know where it comes from.
Art Makepeace Davis Super Chat goes, worried about what we're gonna do in the playoffs. Yeah. I hear you. Maverick says, and David Super Chat goes, Redskins are winning tomorrow.
I like that.
I didn't know. I'll take it. Fat Boy Fragrance Reviews. What a great name. David Super Chat goes, Happy New Year, fellas. Great panel. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. I'm just trying to catch up to this chat because I know we're way behind. Oh, crap. Maryland Eagle, man. Thank you for the Super Chat, man. We appreciate it. He said, just about playoff time. Hope you guys had a great time during the holidays. Eagles versus Bucks look like the first match. I know we have some flaws, especially on defense, but I'm behind this team 100%. Let's see what happens. Yeah. I mean, that's the way we got it. And we really appreciate that Super Chat. I will say this. If the Eagles, if they're playing up to what they're capable of, especially offensively, they become very dangerous in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They do. It's just a matter, can they find themselves? Danny Patterson, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Murray with the Cardinals aren't bad. We can't make a run. Listen, what bothered me about that game was that Jonathan Gannon outcoached Nick Sirianni. And here's what I mean. I'll tell you guys. Let me do this Super Chat. Peace on the Broad Street. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, all of our feelings, confidence can change tomorrow. It could help. It could help. But, I thought the onside kick in that game was such a smart move because what he essentially did was he allowed his team to get the ball back one more time. Mm-hmm. He knew that the Eagles could not stop him. And I think even if the Eagles would have scored a touchdown, he would have gone down and scored a touchdown and then gone for 2. That's how he was looking at it. And what really pissed me off about that last series where Sirianni runs twice and then throws a game, they were playing for a field goal. And it's like, don't you have a feel for the game? Because anybody can tell you right now that you can't stop Arizona. They're going to go right back down to score. You needed at least 7 points out of that. And that really upset me about Nick Sirianni last week.
I think what we noticed about Gannon's defense too, like it's weird because you kind of compare last year to this year. Like Gannon's defense this year is very aggressive. I know the team only has 4 wins for the season, but they were so aggressive. I'm sitting here like last year was not like that. We were scoring points in the first half, and then the second half he was taking his foot off the gas. He wasn't keeping their foot on their necks the rest of the game, and that was what we were complaining about all year. So I'm starting to wonder now, like, was something said? Is the front office getting more involved in play calling? I mean, it's just weird, man. We want Jonathan Gannon out, and look what he's doing with that defense over there, and it's crazy to compare.
I think Eagles fans need to start practicing, and me included. I'm not gonna just put it on everybody else, but we need to start practicing a little bit of patience because we kick a lot of people out. Like Doug Peterson, whatever how you feel about him, he wins the Super Bowl, he then has bad a season, we kick him out. Whatever was happening in the back end of that, we don't know. But you can go even back to Andy Reid, you can go to Jim Shore. We look at all these guys and we're like, shoot, I'd take him back right now. But I like Nick. I do. I like what Nick is. He's not a guy in my opinion. I don't think he ever was a guy that you're going to say, run the offense all by yourself and then, do whatever you do. But he's a guy that oversees things. He's a CEO. It feels
Yeah.
like, and it looks like these players respect him. It looks like these players want to play for him. Maybe these coordinators just aren't the ones that need to be here. Maybe they just need a year under them. I mean, we look at what happened with Jonathan Gannon after 1 year. We look at what happened with Shane Steichen after 1 year. It took him kind of a year to get things together. It's hard for me to really I do want to see a new offensive coordinator. I do want to see a new defensive coordinator. But it's hard for me to just throw these guys out because 11-5 is not terrible. 11-5 is not terrible when especially the losses I feel like were mainly on your players. I mean, your players are out there missing tackles. Your players are getting too aggressive in one-on-one coverage, knowing you have no safety help, James Bradbury, and giving up, 50-yard bombs against the Seattle Seahawks and Drew Lock. So this is our defense doing this. This is our players doing it. We can look at Jalen Hurts fumbling the ball against the Jets and the turnovers he had. We can look at all these games. A.J. Brown turning the ball over in key situations. These are your players. So, I mean, scheme aside, they've made mistakes. So it's tough for me to just say it's all on these guys. It's all on these guys. It's all on everybody. This whole team has done stupid stuff over and over and over again. But I do agree the offense. I don't like how the offense plays in certain situations. So definitely to me, it's maybe 70% like the coaching staff, and then at least a good 30 for the players.
Yeah. Drew Parker says Howie analytics better than game feel. Well, what do you think? Do you hear anything? Because you have some insider sources more than me or Joey, but you hear anything about the control the front office wants over game planning? Instead of having the coaches make the game plan, are the analytics that powerful with this organization?
I don't think so. I mean, every person that I ever speak to about it's Nick and his staff do what they need to do for games. Does Howie make, suggestions? Of course. Howie definitely makes suggestions. Do those suggestions maybe get weighed a little bit heavier than if, I don't know, just some random Joe said it? So obviously, right? That is their boss. So if he says, I would love to see this happen, they're probably going to try and make it happen. But this has been a philosophy of our owner. This is a philosophy of, our GM. And that's why we hire the guys that we hire. We want a passing attack. We've always wanted that. And that's why early on in Jalen Hurts' career, I was kind of doubtful that he would ever be the franchise guy. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. But he's not the prototypical guy that they want. They want a guy that can air it out, that can throw for 300 yards every game, and is just a big arm. And, that's what we want. So it goes all the way down from the top, but I wouldn't say that they go in there and be like, this is who you're going to play. This is who you're going to start. This is what you're going to do. This is your, 10 play sheet for the first quarter. It's more of he probably makes suggestions and they feel kind of not forced, but they feel like they probably have to do some of the things, you know what I'm saying? A nice little give and take.
Yeah. Cause it's just weird because you look at Jim Schwartz. He goes to Cleveland. He has a #1 defense, right? And they play totally different looking than what we look like. Then you have Jonathan Gannon, never blitzed, didn't want to blitz, goes to Arizona, now he's blitzing machine. It's like are these guys being held back from certain things with the Eagles, and then they go somewhere else and they can do more? It's just weird to me.
It's more.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's more control. I think even players leaving here, I think we're not producing at certain positions as well, with linebackers leaving this team and being successful elsewhere, or safeties, or it just seems like everybody's being successful somewhere else. I'm not talking about guys that go to 4 other teams. I'm talking immediate success, and that really pisses me off because I think the scheme is hurting the production of players. So if you're what's the sense of drafting defensive linemen if you're just going to pull your corners back? What's the sense of drafting corners or signing corners to big money or re-signing corners to big money if you're not letting them do the one thing they're supposed to be paid for, is cover? And that is the #1 problem right now. And, as soon as Matt Patricia took over, now we're giving up more big plays now. And, the defensive line has hit a wall at this point because I know Jordan Davis is getting so much shit right now, which I can't stand that, because it's like, if you're not running stunts, you're not creating ways to get pressure, you're not blitzing. I mean, how you're just letting these guys line up and play basic. I mean, that's all you're doing the whole game. So I don't, there's no creativity, there's no brain, there's no nothing. So I don't know what Desai's leaving was Desai giving up his his play calling is just, it didn't really do much. I don't know what it did. So
I will say we probably need to like wait a little bit longer. I mean, with Patricia, he has like a whole different philosophy of how defenses run. So it's probably pretty tough for this defensive. And I don't think that we have the personnel as it is. Like, we don't have really good linebackers right now. The secondary in general is kind of a mishmash of stuff. But with Patricia, he just got handed the reins like two weeks ago, I think now. So it's probably a lot of miscommunication, a lot of not knowing what your assignment is. No excuse. Don't get me wrong. These guys are professionals, figure it out at practice, but it's probably a little bit tougher for the defense. I won't say that they're going to get any much better, but that's one excuse I guess I can make for Patricia. But yeah, it's just for Howie, the biggest thing that like scares me about this organization and Howie and Lurie is that they have like a year where they'll just let people do what they want to do. Like when we won the Super Bowl, I truly feel like they were like, Schwartz, just do whatever it is you want to do with this defense, figure this out, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just because we were like top 3 that year, if I'm not mistaken, in the defense. And then offensively, we were top 3 in rushing and attempts and yardage. So there's years that I feel like they're just like, whatever, do whatever. And then there are years that I'm like, but we want to pass. So I don't know. I think they're trying to rush what Jalen Hurts is. Let him keep learning. Let him keep, help him as much as you can. And once he's like 28, 29, then that's when you say, all right, now this is your offense. Figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I agree. Freddie Lehman's favorite Super Chat goes, Roby better be active over Penny. We need help on D. Penny, I mean, they don't even... What are your thoughts on the whole Rashad Penny thing, Joe? Yeah, exactly, right?
It makes no. I don't get it. I mean, finally they got Julio Jones involved in the offense, so 2 touchdowns. I was shocked over that enough. I think he's got a lot more. Like, you're starting to find out, like, there's like late in the season, like, you actually have a lot of talent. We already know this is a talent roster. When it comes to on paper, like we know this team could score 35 plus 40 plus on teams. But I mean, the Rashad Penny thing, it's like then the days they activate him, they don't even run him one time. Like, I don't get what that whole signing was about. And then after signing Swift, it was like, man, now we got a bruiser, we have a dynamic dual threat, and we know it's Swift just hit over 1,000 yards. Guy should be the second best running back in the league. I mean, he should have like 1,300 to 1,400 yards right now, probably even more. I don't even know. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and it feels like the Eagles always do this. We can go all the way back to Raheem Mostert. I remember when Raheem Mostert was on our practice squad. Now look at the boy. That boy's done it for 2 or 3 different teams.
Yeah.
And still doing it at a pretty high level. So we do that with him. I remember Trey Sermon, right? Trey Sermon was a guy I would have loved to see get some snaps. I'm trying to, like, you can go down the list. There's been so many players that we either misuse or just don't use at all. I really don't know what it is. I don't know why the Eagles, we've always had a pretty good offensive, not a great offensive line. So I don't get what the problem is. It's just misuse of these players. You can look at DeMarco Murray. You can look at Ryan Matthews. You can there's so many guys that you've let just either come in and leave. It's just ridiculous. We've let so many good players go. So many good players. Pro Bowl Jordan Poyer. I would love to have him
another one. Yeah.
Well, we need safety so bad, and Jordan Poyer has just been having all pro seasons and Pro Bowl seasons in Buffalo. It's just
crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is crazy. Bald Eagle David Super Chat goes, this will be Penny's come out game. David Super Chat every week for the whole year. This is Penny's come out game. This is every week we hear the same thing, and they don't even give him carries. Fabio David Super Chat, he goes, it's how they practice and fundamentals. Well, I guess. I know we preach a lot about fundamentals, and then you see the guys go on the field and they can't tackle.
Yeah.
It's like, where are the fundamentals? I don't get it.
Offseason needs some
Well,
changes.
Sidney Brown had that comment about practice. He had that
Yeah.
comment after about practice, and that's an eye opener too. Like they're not even like, what are they doing at practice? Are they physical enough? Are they not in full pads enough during the week? Like, you can't prepare like that. They're tackling a pillow stick. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Pillows be hard sometimes. You never know. You gotta. But not even the off season. The off season, you're doing 45-minute walkthroughs. Like, bro, that's not going to do nothing for you, man. That's why we look so. I mean, that's not the only reason. Don't get me wrong, but that could definitely attribute to you looking soft during the regular season, especially towards the end of the regular season. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think they need to change, like mentality wise. You know what I'm saying? We'll see.
I agree. Art Make Peace Davis Super Che goes, if we don't show out and stomp the Giants, we'll be one and done in the playoffs. I understand sitting the starters, but we need to see them mesh. Yeah, the whole starting, like, sit your stars thing, it just doesn't compute with me. You got to play those guys. Dallas has not, I'm just not giving them the division. I'm just not handing it to them. They got to go win the game in Washington. That's not 100% given. I mean, they'll probably win. They should win, but you can't go in there and just say, we'll give Dallas the division. Let's rest our guys. I don't think that's going to help. I think you got to play. I mean, that's just me.
I think Ron Rivera is like exactly at 500 for his career. Like win-loss, he's exactly at 500. So this next win would either put him under 500 or over 500.
Oh my God!
They asked him at a press conference, like, if that mattered to him, and he was like, "Now that I know it does." So you never know. You never know. You might go out there and be like, "We need to win."
Hey, look, last year it was the opposite, right? The Eagles had to win to clinch, and Dallas could clinch if we lost, and they won. Mm-hmm. And they went into Washington and got their butts kicked. Mm-hmm. So, you just don't know. You got to play. Bald Eagle David Super Che goes, Penny getting legitimate snaps this week guaranteed. Well, if you're saying that because you think they're going to sit Swift, I don't think they're going to sit to play. I think they're going to play their starters. I think they're going to play it the whole way through, to be honest with you. That's just me. Because I think the Dallas-Washington game is going to be close. And I don't think I'm not saying Dallas is going to lose, but I think it'll be close enough that you'll have to play your starters all the way through.
If they lose that game, I'm if they lose that game and we win the division, the stuff I'm gonna be saying to Cowboys fans, I probably
see the thing with Dallas that's so frustrating is that all Dallas had to do was be on the road and they're done. Mm-hmm. So all you have to do is win the division. You put Dallas on the road, they're done. They are not a good road team, but you're going to give them 2 home games now. Oh, that makes me sick in my stomach, man. It makes me sick in my stomach.
Fortunate.
Yeah, the Giants field is horrible too. I pray they stay healthy. It's a horrible field, and I get the concerns. You don't want to get hurt, but I mean, I think winning the division still got to be the number one thing here. That means That means you play a game at home. You play against the worst possible, who would be Green Bay, most likely in the first round. I mean, that's pretty big, man. I don't know. I think they beat Green Bay or Tampa. I think they beat them both.
Yeah, I will say that I feel like, I know this is probably not like a popular opinion, but following the obviously I do that weekly show with Cowboys fans, so I kind of have been following, whether I like it or not, the Cowboys season. It's the same damn thing as the Eagles. They just don't have a 3-game losing streak. They have a 2-game losing streak. They've lost to bad teams. They've beaten like one good team, which is really us. I mean, like, realistically, and they've lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. They've beaten teams they're supposed to beat. I mean, like, they have the exact same year as us. We fumbled the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I will say that, but they have had the exact same schedule, record. It's the same type of games. You look at the Jets and the Cardinals game, both games, neither of us should have lost. I mean, you can go down the list realistically.
Right.
They lost to the Dolphins. We beat the Dolphins. They lost to the
Yeah.
Buffalo
Bills.
Bills. We beat the
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills. There's games like that. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird to me.
And then they were
Yeah,
handed a gift versus Detroit. I'm sorry.
They were.
They
Yeah,
were-
they were.
Oh my God. You know.
Seattle too. Like I think Seattle screwed up like a couple really crazy plays.
Yeah. No, I agree. The one and only Ron the Don Smith. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate it.
I like that name.
Yeah, I do too. Dallas has been playing inconsistent as the Eagles stop the cap. They have.
Exactly.
They have. And if they're on the road, they're not that good. You know? So
Every
I don't know.
team.
I think Detroit, like I could see Detroit going into Dallas and beating them if they play again. Like I could see Detroit having a chip on their shoulder going into that game. You know, but if the Eagles are the 5th seed and we assume that all the top seeds win, the Eagles go to San Francisco week 2.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you have the 2 seed, most likely you have Detroit coming to Philly, which is a matchup in Philly I would love. So it's a big difference, you know.
If they get in that situation going to San Fran, I'm telling you, like they better be smacking guys in the mouth. I'm not even kidding. Like they better show something in that game because you don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, at least you show some fight. I'll give it more respect, but you can't let that shit happen again.
I just hit somebody. You know, I don't even care at that point. Like if they're the better team, they're the better team. If we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose. But just hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like make them remember they played a game that day. I don't even feel like they knew they played us. You know, like they just went to the next week, like, oh yeah, football,
exactly.
right? Like,
yes, that was a bizarre situation, that game, because I just can't believe the Eagles came out the way they just came out, weren't even ready to play. It looked like they weren't interested after all the crap that was talk all season. Nah, it was weird, man. Jesus Shuttleworth says Philadelphia couldn't beat Tampa. To be honest, guess what? We already beat them. So I guess you're wrong about that.
Pretty
how about the
handedly
Cowboys?
too.
There's some dumb people out there.
To Tampa and beat them. You know, I mean, we've won some good games. I mean, I know people want to go, oh well, Kansas City dropped the ball at the end, and this happened in this game, that happened in that game. But that happens in every game for every team that plays.
Right.
You know, teams make plays and then teams don't make plays. And that's the difference. So, you know, I don't know. I look at those kind of wins like going into Kansas City. I think that's a great win. I do.
Yeah,
I think it's a big one, you know. That's a tough place to play on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the Bills win was a really good win for us.
Yeah.
Every team has weaknesses this year. I really don't feel outside of even the 49ers have shown weakness, but I think the 49ers have shown that they've gotten it together as well. So it's tough to really, you know, it goes either way, but I don't know. I don't feel like any team, especially on the NFC, I can't really speak for the AFC. I don't really watch too much of that. I'm not going to lie. I can't sit here and be like, this team is bar none the best team in the AFC. But in the NFC, I don't think there is like yes, the 49ers are probably the favorites in almost any game, but anybody can beat them. I truly do feel like any given Sunday, every team has their strengths and weaknesses. So, hey, well, let's just play some football. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Tortiville says 500 was right when he said the Eagles lost their edge when they let the 49ers bully Bradbury on the Eagles sideline during pregame. Somebody should have been pushing at least. I felt like that was like a big, like going to my stream, I was like, that's not a good sign. Like, why are we not sticking up for each other? You know, that was the first clue, I think, that there was something going on, because I mean, they just let Bradbury get bullied and ain't nobody stepped in. I thought that was weird, man.
Until Big Dom showed up. That was about it.
Big Dom was ready to kick ass. And he was the guy.
Is
he back now?
For the playoff.
We need him at linebacker. Can we get him in a linebacker?
Right.
The one and only Ron the Don Smith. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, I'm on the 49ers fan, Commanders sitting there. I'm on 49ers fans, Commanders sitting their starters.
Why?
The Commanders are sitting. Oh, I guess I'm assuming because of the draft positioning. The thing with the draft position, the players that play on the field want to win. They don't care about that. So the only way is you have to sit your starters. Most teams do not sit their starters. The only team that I can recall in recent history to pull something like that was the Eagles. Remember a few years ago against the Giants, they pulled all their starters at half. I don't know that Washington does that.
Get Devontae Smith.
That was it, and I approved of that move at the time. To be honest with you,
I mean, Cowboys might sit there starter. Who knows? Who knows what happens? To be honest, it's to me, whatever happens next week, this weekend, it is what it is. It is what it is. We got to figure out what's going to happen in the playoffs because that to me is way more important. I will say our season's over. I don't care about the season anymore. If we win the division, I'm gonna talk mad junk, but it ain't gonna make me feel any different about my team. You know what I'm saying? Like I know we got some things we need to work on. You know, we got good things and bad things, just like any other team. But we definitely got some things to work on.
Key to the playoffs for the Eagles, DeAndre Swift.
Easily.
If you just use him, you're not going to sign him. Don't worry about keeping his carries down. Let him go. Let him go. And that's, to me, the key for the Eagles. The good thing about this position is there's no pressure. Nobody expects you to win. Nobody expects you to do anything. So there is no pressure on the Eagles going into those games. There's not, you know. So, I mean, we'll see.
I think the most important thing too, I think, is playing 4 quarters of good football. And I think we've seen the signs this year where, like, man, if they could just like do something in the first half, would be great. And really, after these, like, you know, these past few losses, and obviously a win against the Giants, like we've seen some, at least in the Cardinals game, we were seeing that they were somewhat productive productive at times, and you know, can get the passing game going. But a lot of teams have figured this offense out when it comes to when we substitute. Take the first series where you run with DeAndre Swift 2 times, and then you sub him out and put Gainwell in on a 3rd and 2, and then, I mean, you're making crap way too obvious. You know, with Gainwell being on the field and overused and being treated like he's the dual threat back. Maybe they don't know, you know, who's DeAndre Swift and who's Gainwell at times. I don't even know. But you know, and we saw the signs that even during our gauntlet, like these second half comebacks, like how long was that going to last? Like they were winning, so why change it? Why wouldn't they, you know, care to change anything else? So, you know, these were resilient wins, but like I said, how long was that going to last? And I think it finally caught up to us. Something happened between the Bills game, and I think in between that time, something must have happened. I don't know why they wouldn't be fired up for that 49ers game, why they didn't show much of anything. I don't, in your home, I don't get how. I don't get it.
There was a play where Hurts got pushed late out of bounds, and nobody did anything. They all just walked back to the huddle. I couldn't believe that one of the offensive linemen did not run up and grab him or pick him up or push people around. You know, it's like they looked checked out of that game. I don't know. You know, I just don't know. I mean, dude, the 49ers came into that game wearing black. The whole team dressed in black for your funeral. If that would freaking fight. Like, I'm ready to fight right now over that, you know, if I'm a player. So
I mean, that also shows what the games mean to people. I mean, you know, I see the chat. There's a lot of Cowboys fans ecstatic that we're on a you know, slip, but still have the same record as us. So it shows who we are. I mean, we are the bar. Right? No matter what people want to admit or not admit, we might not be good right now, but beating us still means something to people. Like, you know, you can't say that about a lot of teams. So it is what it is. When we get in the playoffs, we'll see what happens. That's really all I can say.
It's true. They got the same record, and they're sitting there patting themselves on the back about how great they are, and we're sitting here not satisfied.
Exactly.
This is the true winners right here. You Dallas have been losers for 30 years. Get used to it. 30 more years of it is coming.
Exactly.
Young Boy says, real question is, who's stopping Swift or sub Gainwell for Penny, and they have a triple threat with Jalen Swift and Penny? I get what you're saying, and I'm not a big Penny fan. I'm not a big Gainwell fan. But they're just not going to use. They're not going to use Penny. I do not believe they're saving him for the playoffs. I do not. It's a great conspiracy, but they don't like him. Matt, they were super chickens. Underdogs again. What else is new? Yeah, I mean that's what we do. That's what we do. Now, do you guys think that Smitty will be back for the playoffs?
Everything I've
Yeah.
heard, he is. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, he
Slay.
could have been back this year. From what I'm hearing, he was trying to push it for this week, but they chose to kind of be a little safe and have him out. Slay could have been back too, but they just want to be safe.
He's just his pinky hurts. So
yeah, Slay. I called Slay a hoe on Twitter, and people got so mad at me. Like, I understand I'm supposed to be like this credentialed guy that's like professional. I'm a fan still, bro.
I'm not over that shit. I'm not over that shit on
I'm
his
not.
podcast. I'm not over that from a few weeks ago. That really pissed me off. Like you almost went to Baltimore. You came back, got more money, and you're like, if you're at an old age where you're like, I want to make sure I'm not paralyzed the rest of my life to hold my kids, then you know what? Then just retire. Then just fucking retire. Like seriously. Bye.
I will say I had I want to say this was Thursday or something like that, but Mike Tannenbaum from the 33rd team with like Ari Mirov and stuff like that, they hold like semi monthly, like couple every like month or two, they'll do like a call and you just ask them questions and they tell you what they've been hearing about certain questions. But I had my boy go in there for me, my guy Marcus, if Marcus Blackstock's watching, shout out to you, my guy. But I gave him my credentials for it, and he asked a really good question. He asked about this team and like what they were going to be doing in the offseason. And Mike basically said, the Eagles are probably the best team for this to happen to because we have Howie Roseman. He's not going to sit on his hands and just say, oh, well, let's just run it back. Like, there's going to be major changes if we lose, especially in the first round. So, that is one thing to kind of, be ready for. If we lose, we lose. And it's going to be a whole offseason of us figuring out what we're going to do next. But a lot of the things that we want to see happen, maybe outside of us, drafting a cornerback in the first round or linebacker early in the first round, is probably going to happen. We're going to move money around. We're going to sign some people to this team. So if we suck, we suck. And this season's over, it's over. But at the end of the day, I know we're not going to just keep getting worse.
If both coordinators get fired and they hire the most random name that we're just like, who? And it's going to be some assistant from this random team that nobody knows about that is just waiting to get a pay raise. I mean, that's really all it is. I mean, because look, I would love to just get a guy that's going to come in with his own playbook and just it's on him. And he's going to say, you know what? Let me run my offense the way I want to run it. And if I fail at it, it's all on me. And, all of it's going to be on me. So, and that's what there's way too many people involved. And if it's just analytics and if it's more than that, it's way too much involved. And they have to get this right. Some of these teams are like, take KC, for example, Matt Nagy, coordinator, obviously a big dip off, from Eric Bieniemy. But I think at the same time, like, look at, Steve Spagnuolo, like, he's been the defensive coordinator over there for the past, since 2019. So we can't keep coaches in the building. I mean, now it's just insane. Like Howie's got to let go, work on the cap, work on the trades, be collaborative with your coaching staff to what we need for this team. You're going to have cap space. You're going to restructure. You're going to move money around like Joe said. So there's plenty of possibilities you can have a good off season. So
yeah, I think it's both. Like, you can look at it from both sides because the Eagles promote a lot of coaches. I mean, there's been a lot of coaches that came from our tree, a lot of very, very good semi Hall of Fame, some of these guys, coaches that have come from our tree. So it helps us because we definitely get that first look. A lot of people will be like, the Eagles, they might be a good spot for me to kind of further my career, but it's also bad because it's just to further my career. I'm not going to stay with the Eagles for 4 or 5 years. I'm gonna get my looks and go somewhere else. So it sucks, but
yeah, it is. It's never it's never boring being an Eagle fan. That's for sure. That no matter what, it's going to be crazy. Fuzz from Australia, thank you for the super chat. He goes, hey guys, hope you're doing well. I made a deal with my wife. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year, I can get a second wife. Pound, start praying for me. Man, good luck with that. All right. One's already hard enough to handle. Good luck with two. But no, man, we hope we hope you're a success in whatever you do, my man. just populate the earth. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, man.
Have
That's
them
expensive.
babies.
We were talking about expenses earlier. That's expensive.
Oh
right
yeah.
there, having
Oh
two of
yeah.
them.
I would have to
Yeah.
get another job. Yeah, I'd have 3. Black Wolf 19 says, "Who do you think the Eagles will hire their next defensive coordinator in 2024?" So there are reports. I don't know if you guys saw earlier that Desai's pretty much done. He's gone after this year.
Oh, yeah.
My fear is that Patricia's going to be given the defensive coordinator position. That's my fear. I don't really want. I really would like to go back to the Jim Johnson tree, and get somebody off of that tree with that kind of, more aggressive style. I just don't think the Eagles want to play that style of defense, though. So I don't know what they're going to do.
It's gonna be Patricia. I hate to break it down, but he's very, very loved in that organization. They think very, very highly of him.
And all I think is 500.
That.
How many points did Nick Foles score on him in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
that's all I think.
Yeah, I hate to break it, but he's most likely going to be that guy. You do have some other guys out there, like you said, kind of some random assistants, but there's this guy. Man, I feel like he coached for the Eagles before, and he's been doing pretty well. Denard Wilson. I doubt that he'll want to come back.
That was the mistake.
Yeah,
I think that was the mistake. Yeah, we should have kept him and hired him, and it's for defensive coordinator.
And look at what he's doing in Baltimore right now. Them boys.
Yeah. This is why we need Joe Castro at the scouting combine and the draft, and this is why we need him because. Who else are going to ask these questions and put these guys on the spot? That's why you guys need to check out his GoFundMe. Make sure, you contribute, help him to get back there because we need somebody who asks real questions and real interviews to the players, to these coaches. And our boy Joe did that. Best content out of the draft last year was Joe Castro. There's no doubt about it.
I appreciate that.
It's true. I mean, how many different places used your content? It was crazy,
It was surreal. I ain't gonna lie. It was very surreal. And shout out to you guys, man. I know you guys don't do it for what I'm about to say, but you guys have looked out for me from day one before I was ever even thinking about doing any, draft or anything like that. You guys always looked out, whatever it was that I ever needed, whether it was just a personal thing or it was something for the channels. So you guys might, I know you hate to hear it, but you guys are goats. I know the community appreciates you, but I personally, especially stuff like this, you guys reached out to me wanting to help me. Like, it means a lot, man. It really does mean a lot. So I appreciate you guys.
God, I hate to fucking hear
it. Shut up, Joe. Shut up. But I do.
I'm glad we could do it. I mean, we appreciate you and anything we could do to help, anytime, man. Webfoot 80, David Super J goes, Castro, which cornerback can the Eagles get in the first?
This year, there's a lot of good cornerbacks. Depending on where they draft, obviously, but you're looking like bottom 20s, right? So like 25 and on. You're looking maybe if you get lucky, like a Kalen King, if you get lucky. But I think you're looking at what's the other guy from Alabama? I'm spacing on the name. Let me just pull up my notes real quick. If you don't mind me just pulling, I'll give you good answers.
Pause.
Yeah, I don't want to like just randomly say people and be wrong because I have been actually writing down.
You definitely need corners. You need linebackers.
That depends what they do with Bradbury. Depends what they do with Slay. It's going to
Bradbury. Throw him in the trash.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
But no, I like Terrion Arnold. That's the other guy from Alabama. I know a lot of people are big on Kool-Aid, but Terrion's somebody that could fall. I think he's not just as good as Kool-Aid because Kool-Aid does a lot of different things, which his name being Kool-Aid alone, he should be drafted in the top 5. But Chris Abrams-Draney from Mizzou, I think he's from. I like him a lot. I like TJ Tampa. He's a big guy. Kalen King is a guy. I said that he could stay in Pennsylvania. I would love to see that. Kenyon Mitchell is a guy that I would love to see stay out here or come out here, I should say. And I'll give you one random guy that probably nobody's really talking about. Jalen Simpson from Auburn is a guy that I've been having my eye on. So those are kind of guys that, but Jalen will probably go second, third, maybe later. But those first couple guys, Chris Abrams is probably my favorite out of all of them right now. I'm not really sure why. Just watching him really gets me excited. But that's why I'm excited to go do this Senior Bowl, man. Yeah. Pause. My bad, John. Pause. But there's a lot of good corners in this draft. We're really lucky, and there's a lot of good linebackers in this draft. So,
do you think guys think Avonte Maddox is gone? I mean, they got the kid Rogers that's suspended, right, coming back to the team next year. I'm curious what they do with Avonte Maddox.
He's $11 million cap hit.
Well, what, you gonna have two nickels?
If you could trade him for like early day 2 pick, I would eat that $11 million. I would start a new GoFundMe and just say eat the $11 million. It is what it is.
They could take Maddox on his big ass toe. Always hurt. Always hurt.
He's an amazing player, though, man. It sucks.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, and this gives no excuse. Like when the Kobe Dean's still out, dude. 3 injuries, 2 times on IR this year. Yeah. There is no way they skip on that position this year. No 1-year deals. I don't want to see that shit.
No, I would seriously take 2 number 2s and draft 2 linebackers. With 2 linebackers for your number 2. Seriously, get it over with, right? I mean, this is like kind of the shit we talked about with Bijan Robinson. You don't like to draft. You don't like to sign running backs to big money. The best thing you could do is lock them up early for a few years as a rookie. Do it in the second round. Draft 2 linebackers in the second round. Dude, they let TJ Edwards walk.
Yeah.
Did you see what the Bears paid him? Nothing.
That was kind of on TJ though. He wanted to go back to Chicago.
Did he want to go?
If I'm not mistaken, he's from there. So yeah, that was kind of like a big thing for him to go.
God, man,
the time where Jim Schwartz never used him, when we saw flashes of like what he could do, and like, damn, man,
Singleton too. And the worst part is that we went through all the BS with these guys. Like, I remember when Singleton first came on the team, TJ came on the team. We were like, bro, like we need linebackers. And then they finally start playing well, and it's like, we had him for like 2 years of him playing very well, and then we just look
at Duke Riley with Miami. Like he was on our practice squad. Like, what the fuck is going? Like, sorry, but what's going on? Like, I'm LJ Fort. Like, what's going on, dude? Seriously,
continuously. It's just ridiculous at this point. I mean, I try not to get to, because they've made good decisions, especially draft wise. I think that this draft, it may get kind of poo-pooed on sometimes, but I think that this draft is really, really good. I think they did very well. And then obviously I know Jordan Davis is, catching heat right now, but him not looking good is more on the linebackers, in my opinion. It's more on the linebackers.
Davis. He's got double the snaps from last year, and plus, like, what didn't Carter only have like 21 snaps last game? Like, he didn't really have that many snaps. They're not rotating enough guys either.
I watched that dude run down Josh Allen. I'm sorry, dude.
That was funny.
And I think the most important thing too is you really have to start making guys a bunch of hybrid players. Like Sidney Brown definitely needs to play 2 positions. I like Sidney Brown at safety a lot. I don't know. I just feel like he covers the field very well. I just feel like he covers big space. Nolan Smith is definitely he's got to bulk up, but I think he's got to start playing Sam linebacker. I think we need to use more of his athletic ability in some way. They got to do something more with him.
I think he needs just to bulk up and be a pass rusher. Like, just let him focus on pass rushing for the next 3 years.
Who, Nolan Smith?
That's what I would do.
I think Nolan going to be outside. I think he's going to be a beast.
You think he's outside linebacker?
I do. I think that's
really?
You look at him in college, he has the speed to be outside rusher. He has speed to be an edge guy. He just doesn't have the move, so he doesn't really know how to use his hands. And that can be taught. Don't get me wrong. He can definitely get taught that. And, he can be a good pass rusher. I'm not saying that he's trash at pass rushing. It's just with that skill set that he has, that boy is fast. And he's fluid.
Focus on getting him good at one thing.
Yeah.
Like, find whatever it is, find it and start using it. I don't
agree.
know.
I
Fabio
agree.
David Super Chat. He goes, we need a defensive line heavy for pass and run stop. Yeah, look, I think that one of the biggest disappointments on defense, in actuality, to me, has been the pass rush. You have the worst third down pass rush in the National Football League, I believe. They don't. Hassan Reddick does, but Josh Sweat kind of off year. Brandon Graham kind of off year. I mean, you're not really getting any production from anybody else.
No.
I think you need another legitimate pass rusher. I do.
There's some good ones in this draft. Defense. There's a lot of good defensive play. If I was the Eagles, go safety early. I know they don't like to, but there's like 4 safeties in this draft. Outside of those 4 safeties, who knows?
And if we had to put money right now on a table, I'm willing to bet they're drafting a pass rusher first.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
They're going to draft a pass rusher. Just draft the right guy. No Derek Barnett. Get Watt, not Derek Barnett. Watt.
Now you're giving me nightmares. I thought I was supposed to be the one giving you nightmares. There's a lot of good prospects in there. But if I'm the Eagles, go with one of these safeties. Get like Bullard or Kitchens. Get one of those guys in the first round. And
what do you think of Reed Blankenship? I don't think he's a legitimate starter.
I like him. I don't think he's like a star, but I like him. No. I think that in the right system, he could be really good. He's a very cerebral player. He knows what's going on in front of him. But we're kind of asking him to do everything. I don't know. I need to see him maybe in another system, but he had a decent year, he got to stay healthy too.
I mean, let's just release him and see what he does somewhere else. I mean, that's what we normally do.
It would be like Sean Taylor.
Yeah, just send him to Washington or something. Just who knows?
No, it's true.
Cares, right?
It's true. So tomorrow is going to be interesting. I assume Dallas will win, and the Eagles, I don't even think it really matters if Dallas wins. Of course, then it's playoff time. I think we're probably going to play Tampa Bay is the most likely scenario. Is that what it is right now?
Yeah.
I
live out here, so if y'all want to come out, I live out in Tampa, so if y'all want to come out for the game, you know what I'm saying? Let me know, bro.
Dude, if I come back to Florida, I ain't leaving.
I got a couch, Philly. Don't worry about it. I got you.
All right. Couch and eggnog, I'm there.
Hey,
Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. Goes Marcus Smith, defensive end from Louisville, is the beast. Pound get him. Oh God, that was brutal. That's not as bad as Danny Watkins though. Danny Watkins,
the firefighter.
Yeah,
that started a fire in Philly.
Oh God, he stunk. So, anyways, I guess that's about it, guys. We're over an hour in. We got 542 people between both channels. If you're new, hit the link in the description. Go sub Up Joey. Make sure you check out our boy Joe Castro's GoFundMe. Help get him to the draft, to the scouting combine and all that, where we can get the best and most needed information out of the draft with our boy Joe.
Oh, yeah.
And Joey, you dropping that link in the
that's already in. I got it.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, guys, check it out, man. And yeah, is there anything you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Cheer up, Philly. Cheer up, Eagles fans. Let's just get through this. I'm so tired. I'm gonna be real. I'm so tired of hearing negativity. Like we see what has happened. Like we all.
I feel like I've been ranting the past 5 weeks, like every day. It's like, oh, I gotta do another video of just being pissed off about something else.
Yeah.
No happiness in my life. No, but
yeah,
that's the way it's been, and it's just like I feel like we've been hearing the same thing over and over, like the same issues over and over every week. It's just to go into this Giants game would be nice to like have a full 4-quarter game of just productivity. And kind of end on a good note of the regular season, and then I think the players are really gonna get together, and I think hopefully go into this playoff game. They're gonna be hungry for it, and hopefully the coaching staff is ready for it, because this is on. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but this is definitely on them too, and God knows what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
No.
And one last time, I just do want to say thank you to guys, both of you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you to everybody that has
course.
already supported the GoFundMe and helping me get out there. But yeah, again, just thank you so much. And this was a lot of fun as always. So
Yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, man. We appreciate you coming on. We thank you, man. You're welcome anytime. You know, just whenever you will come on, just let us know. I got something to
can-
say. Boom, you're
You
on.
can come
You
whenever
know.
you want.
Yeah. Pause.
pause. I was just about to say.
Pause
I
that.
was just about to say, Joe, you can't. I know you're getting tired, Joey. But come on now.
Pause
You
that.
can't be
I'm so
slipping
He
up
said,
right
he
now.
said, you could come whenever you want. I don't know, man. You better pause on that.
Oh man, y'all crazy.
Oh man, it's crazy times we live in. But no, guys, seriously, thank you so much. With that, I think we're gonna end this thing now, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. So with that said, guys, you all take care, and we will see you later. Peace.
Peace.